what is this podcast about? It probably would help if you don't chew into the mic.
My name is Libby.
My name is Luke.
In this new episode.
This
new season.
And we are going to be focusing completely on weddings.
We are, in fact, the Wedding Pirates.
There's no other podcast like this. I've looked. I've checked.
And we have a cat. Her name is Stella.
We want to share all the secrets when it comes to weddings.
The one where we talk. Wedding edition.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The One Where We Talk, Wedding Edition. This is sponsored by the Wedding Pirates and Broadside Visuals, which is us.
Okay.
We're breaking down everything weddings and answering all the questions that you may have about weddings, whether they are comical, serious, or pertaining to planning your wedding right now. Maybe you're planning a wedding right now, but we're striving to answer all those questions that maybe a lot of vendors don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Today we're talking about your wedding schedule.
And what that looks like. And I believe the best way for us to break this down is because brides have specific questions about how long does this take? How long do you need?
Right.
Not how long, other vendors, like makeup or an officiant, or how long your ceremony is. Not that. We're talking about how long does the videographer and how long does the photographer need for this
Specific thing. To capture it.
And that's what we want to answer.
Right. So I've done plenty of meetings with brides who have questions of how long do I need to capture this one moment, or because there's a lot of things that a bride wants captured on her wedding day. And every bride is going to have different things. Like some brides don't have any bridesmaids, so it's just literally the bride and the groom portrait session that we have to worry about. And those are great. Some brides have 10 bridesmaids and 10 groomsmen. And they want to prioritize getting pictures with them. So it's like each day is going to look very, very different. So it's really, really important when you are booking or planning out your wedding that you talk to your photographer about the wedding schedule, to make sure that your photographer has the time allotted that they need to make your day go as smoothly as possible and be on time for things.
Because if you have a certain vision in your head and you're only giving them 30 minutes to make that vision come to life, you might be up shit's creek, because if you didn't talk to your photographer, if you didn't communicate that vision to your photographer and then tell them you have 30 minutes to do this, they might need to tell you that's not possible, I need an hour.
Right. So, like, if I am...
It's not something you want to hear on your wedding day.
Yeah. Sometimes I have run into in the past, before we started doing meetings with our brides and grooms, like back in the beginning of our business, there were times that we would arrive on a wedding day and the schedule did not allow me to capture the things that they wanted, and I was very, 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 very rushed. Which I can.
You've worked with rush.
Yeah, I do well under stressful situations, and I can get what I need to get done if it is like rushed, but I don't prefer it. So, now that's why we do meetings with our brides and grooms, just to go over schedules with each bride and groom.
It's why we have open communication with our brides and grooms throughout the entire process of planning. So there's the initial, I would say there's a total of 3 scheduled calls that we try to do. There's the first one that I like to call the discovery call, which is a get to know you. How much is this going to cost? Where is this going to be? Do I like you? Do you like me?
Do we jive?
Kind of thing. I need to...
That's before the bride has decided to go with our business.
Exactly.
Or bride or groom has decided to go with our business, booking our business.
Yeah. So we call it a discovery call, meaning you're discovering who this person is, and I'm discovering who are you as a bride and groom, and can we accomplish your dream wedding that you have in mind.
Right.
And so after that, like, obviously you're going to want to talk, and we're going to have a little bit more communication, and then there might be a second call, maybe some additional questions, because I send off contract and how payment works and all these things. And so you might have additional questions. Sometimes those happen over a text. Sometimes they happen over a phone call. I try and do the first call over FaceTime as much as possible.
Yeah.
But, and then the last call after you've booked everything is typically 2 to 3 months out from your wedding, where we go over your schedule.
Right.
And between all of that, so between all those calls, you have the freedom, our brides and groups have the freedom to book a meeting with us. You can book as many meetings as you want with us.
Right.
You're paying for our time, and so we're
and you have
at your
direct access
disposal.
to, like, if you book us, you have direct access to us via phone number, or
and
you have our text.
I put all 4 of us in a thread.
Yeah,
I
the
love
bride
that.
and the groom and
It's
Luke
honestly
and
my
I
favorite part.
go into a thread, and we just say, hey, this is your wedding thread, to have direct access to your videographer, photographer. If you have any questions, concerns, you want to share some exciting news about your wedding or your life, because we, by the time that your wedding day is over, we strive to be good friends with you. And some brides have really experienced that friendship, and we love those brides and grooms who we've become really close with.
And some brides or grooms, they never use the thread. Like, they never want to talk. They just want to use it for business, and that's it.
Yeah.
And we're nothing more than another vendor. That's fine.
Yeah.
If that's what you need for your wedding day, I'm more than happy to do that. But in order to get the full experience of the Wedding Pirates, I would say you want to engage in getting to know us, because we want to engage in getting to know you.
Right.
Because we're going to be able to capture you better, and you're going to get more out of your product if we know you better. And we're comfortable with each other by the time we get to the wedding day, because we're sharing memes and funny things and funny stories. And shout out to the iPhone users. If everybody is an iPhone user in that thread, you can share your schedule, like your draft of your first draft of your schedule, like, hey, this is what I have so far. Or you can share your, hey, this is my family shot list, or hey, look at this reel or this TikTok that I found of this idea for a shot, and like, can you guys do this? It's so convenient to have that.
Right.
But the schedule is something that builds over time. It's never the same from the start. Like, so when you show us your initial schedule, you tell me your initial schedule, your start time for your ceremony can change from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's happened. And by the time we get to your 2 to 3 month out meeting and we're talking about your schedule, then we're actually getting into the nitty gritty things and nailing things down to the ground, that this is when it's going to happen. This is how much time it's going to take. Yeah. Is that right, Stella?
Stella's hungry. She wants me to feed her.
But anyway, so how long would you say you need for getting ready as a photographer, and then I'll talk videographer wise?
As a photographer, so usually what happens when I arrive to do the getting ready is I first arrive, and then I say, hey, how's it going? Give the bride a hug, because that's usually the first person I see. Well, the coordinator is actually the first person that we usually see, and then she takes us to the bride, and so we'll say hi to the bride, ask her how she's doing, give her a hug, and we just kind of talk about things and make sure that she's doing okay. And then I ask her where all her detail stuff for my flat lay and her wedding dress and all that. I ask some more questions just to make sure that, I'm doing what I need as a professional to get my job done well. And then I take all the flat lay stuff and the wedding dress, and I go hang it up somewhere, and I do the flat lay.
So how much time do you need?
Right, so I'm just explaining why I need this much time.
Oh, okay.
And then at that point, I go and take pictures of the bride getting ready, like the final stages of her hair, as she already has her makeup on. And then we usually do like robe shots. So all of that usually takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
So you're arriving, if the ceremony is starting at 2 p.m., we're typically arriving between 11 and 12.
No.
11 and noon.
Because it depends also if they want to do a first look.
Oh, yeah.
If they want to do a first look, then that usually takes about 30 minutes.
So
if she wants to do a first look with her dad, that usually is another 15 minutes. If she wants to do a first look with her brother or
their
her dog,
bridesmaids.
her bridesmaid, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
a thing.
This all adds up into your time. So, for first looks besides your future spouse, I'd add 15 minutes for each.
So for dad, brothers,
bridesmaids, groomsmen, dog,
each of
mother,
those.
grandmother.
And 15 minutes might sound like a lot, but that's fine. If it only takes 5 minutes, that's great. You have that extra
time that we can fill, that will get filled up with other things.
Right.
And then you have bridal party pictures. So if they don't do a first look, then you do the bride with her bridesmaids and the groom with his groomsmen, and then you have to add in groom's picture of the groom getting ready.
Right, but we're talking about time.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, everything that you're in your schedule takes time. So pictures of the groom getting ready. If it's in the same location as where the bride's getting ready, that'll be 30 minutes. Then you have to do pictures with bride and the bridesmaids, groom with the groomsmen, and that's 30 minutes each. That's about an hour.
Right.
And then if you've already done the first look, then we can do whole bridal party pictures, which is another 30 minutes. And then you do your ceremony.
Okay. So between, say, if you are doing first looks, let's say if you're doing all the first looks, you have your photographers probably showing up around 8 a.m. In all honesty.
If your ceremony's at 2, your photographer's probably showing up between 9 and 10. Yeah.
Right, you don't think 8? Because we're arriving at 8.
We are arriving.
Right, we arrive at a lot of weddings at 8.
Yeah, just because even if they tell us arrive at 10, we're like, yeah, we're going to show up at 8 because we need all that extra time to just make sure that we're in the correct headspace and that we're not rushing anything, because we do not enjoy rushing things on a wedding day.
No, it's not fun. I hate walking into a space I have no idea where I am, especially when it comes to video, because I have to set up multiple cameras to get multiple angles for your ceremony, depending on if it's at the getting ready location or anything like that.
And most of the time, we've been to the same venue in our 5 years of business twice, I think.
Yeah.
And usually we don't have the time to go explore a new venue before the wedding day. Sometimes we do, but most oftentimes we don't.
Because we usually do 2 weddings a weekend, so there's not really going to be time.
Well, not every weekend.
Not every weekend, but that's usual. That's pretty typical. But my point is that if we do come to explore a venue, we're doing it months.
Right, months and
before.
months.
We're not doing it weeks before.
Right.
And that's if we even have the time.
Yeah.
Because it is extra time to come out and drive to the venue.
Part of the reason why we can't come out to visit venues is because we do a lot of weddings across country. And most of the time, we're not in the area of where your wedding is until maybe a month before your wedding day.
Yeah.
So.
But so if we're arriving at 8 and then ceremony's at 2, depending on your ceremony, we're not really sure. And if you're doing, you could always decide whether to do bridal party photos before your ceremony if you're doing your first look, or my favorite schedule of 2022 was Lexi and Josh, because they did everything before the ceremony. They did their family photos, their bridal party photos, their first look, and then by the time we got to their ceremony, we finished their ceremony, we did one portrait session with them afterwards that was super cute with the bride and groom, and then we went straight into the reception, and it was great. It went so smoothly. Everything was nearby. It was a total of 2 locations, and that
3 if you count the field where we did the family pictures in.
Oh yeah. But there's a lot to be said for that too. Keep in mind that 5-10 minute drives take up a lot of time. Keep that in mind. If it sounds so, if you have an Airbnb, your church, and a venue, if all of those are a total of 10 minutes each, that's 20 minutes, and the photographer and videographer have to drive that round trip.
And you have to allow time for us to walk to our vehicle.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times our vehicle's not parked right outside.
Right, because we
door.
Haven't been there, and we're also hauling literal pounds of gear.
Yeah.
Like your camera in itself, you have 2 5-pound weights.
Right.
You should just put 2 5-pound weights on your straps and just work on those. Work out with those.
And just do some squats.
Yeah, just put them in your camera straps, the 5-pound weights, and just do some squats.
Yeah, some what are those things? The weights that you hold that are like little purses.
The kettlebells?
Yeah, kettlebells.
Yeah.
Just strap those into my...
Anyway, so there is no schedule that's the same. We don't have a template, but we are working on a chart that we can give, or like a list that maybe that's a better way to describe it, that we can give our brides and grooms to say like, hey, these are, if you're doing this main event in your day, so family photos, if you have
10 to 15 if you have 10 to 15 family members, that'll take 30 minutes. If you have 20 to 30, that'll take maybe 30 to 40 minutes. If you have, so just like having a guide to know how long things are going to take. Exactly. It also depends on how cooperative people are. A flow chart.
Oh, what are those things called? A chart where you like, you put your finger here and you put a finger here, and then and
then they connect, like down and across.
Yeah.
And they connect at it.
What's that?
I don't know. The spreadsheet.
Something like that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
We'll figure it out once we have our office space.
Yeah. But this is all. But it's if this is your first time planning a wedding, it's a lot, and it's okay to be a little bit stressed, and it's okay to be lost. I guess that's what we're trying to say too.
95% of our brides are first-time marriage people getting married. Yeah. I think we've had maybe 2 or 3 weddings where it's their second wedding.
That is a question. When it comes to family photos, is probably your biggest chunk of time and probably the most hectic part.
Well, it's not your biggest chunk of time. Your biggest chunk of time is your portrait session, because that is the most important for you and for us.
So I should say, not the biggest chunk of time, but it is the most hectic.
Yes, your family photos are definitely the most hectic. And we've talked about mentioning to our brides and grooms maybe doing your family photos the night before at your rehearsal dinner.
And we do have an entire episode just on family photos, so be sure to go back and listen to that, and how to make that go smoothly.
Right.
And then after your family photos, as far as your portrait session, you want to, as you just said, allot. It is the most important part of the day, I would say, besides your ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
But picture-wise, that's the most important part of the day.
Yeah, I would say a lot of people want to go off location to get pictures, so I would allot for an hour and a half of just for your portrait session.
Yeah, because you can get so creative.
Especially if you're in a city location, there's a lot of opportunities for some really cool pictures in a city location, and an hour and a half flies by, and most of the time we wish we had another hour and a half.
Yeah, whether it's Chicago, Milwaukee, other cities, New York.
Even as little as small as Green Bay.
Yeah, even as small as Green Bay. But all those cities are rather
Lancaster.
walkable, or rather, hop into a car and drive over here. But that time goes by so fast because, we're talking, we're having a good time. You guys are getting comfortable with each other. You guys are alone finally. I mean, you got your photographer and videographer with you, but we're encouraging you to just be yourselves.
Right.
And you don't have to pretend to be anybody else for us. That actually makes our job harder.
What makes your job harder?
When you try to pretend to be someone else.
Oh yeah, just be naturally yourself and in love, and it's be cute.
That a lot of time is so fun for us and for you. So I would say, like you said, an hour to an hour and a half at least.
Mm-hmm.
At least.
Yeah.
Tell your coordinator to not come and pick on us during that time. Anyway, so
unless we're like way over on time, the coordinator really shouldn't.
If we're like a half hour over on time, and
well, even if it starts to creep up to 10 minutes overtime.
Yeah. And I would say the part where everybody starts to really push for food is food. Saying, I just got off the phone with a bride. She said, I had to move my schedule. I wanted to get married at 1, but I'm being forced to get married at 2 because otherwise there would be an hour between the ceremony and cocktail hour. And then everybody said, well, what are the guests going to do? And so I had to move it till 2, and I said, that's so sad because you wanted that extra hour for portraits, and now you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Because people want to get drunk.
Yeah, basically.
Like, what the fuck?
People are so, guests can be so selfish on a wedding day.
They're honestly the most selfish people on a wedding day.
Yeah.
Are the guests.
They're they feel like they're entitled to this, that, or the other thing, and it's like.
And you end up building your schedule at that part of the day after the ceremony and after the portrait session and all that. You end up building your schedule around your guests. I get that they're your guests and you want them to have a good time and a good experience, but if you have guests that are complaining, go home.
Yeah.
Go home, dude.
Don't come to my wedding.
Don't come to my wedding and complain. Go home.
Yeah. So it's like, don't plan your wedding schedule around your guests. Plan your wedding day around what you guys want, what you want to prioritize for you and your groom.
And your guests that are coming are going to be excited for you.
They should
They should be excited for you. They don't care when they eat. They're going to eat. They don't care when they're going to get a drink. They know they're going to get a drink. The point is that they're there for you. And if their immediate question is, where's the open bar? Don't come to my wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, you tell them, Stella.
Hi.
But if you have any other questions about your schedule, it's all over the place. I feel like we can do an hour.
Yeah, we can't just talk about a wedding schedule in the sense of what should your wedding schedule look like, because there are so many different factors that come into play when you are planning your wedding and your schedule.
But your biggest help is going to be hiring a photographer, videographer, couple that is organized, and they're going to be upfront and honest with you of how much time things are going to take, and have done this hundreds of times.
Right.
So whoever that you end up hiring as your visual vendors, make sure that they're organized and make sure they're going to have communication with you, because you're going to need that. And that's going to make your schedule get written out faster and so smooth.
Yeah, and make sure, like the other day I was talking to one of our couples, and the groom was really concerned about family photos taking a lot of time. And I said, well, with how many family members you have, it shouldn't take more than 45 minutes. And then I just mentioned to him real quick that I am not afraid to tell guests to leave the church if they're not family. And he's like, oh, good. I'm so glad you said that, because I was really worried that people were going to stick around just to get pictures with us. And that I was afraid that maybe if we weren't assertive enough, that that would run into our portrait time, which is really, really important to us. And I was like, oh, no, dude, I got you. I can tell people to not break a leg. That's for...
Break a leg. I mean, that is... You can't tell them to break a leg.
I'm not afraid to tell wedding guests to get out of the church and go to cocktail hour, because...
They're not paying us.
Well, they're not paying us. Yeah, the bride and groom's paying us to basically kick their guests out of the area where we're doing family photos.
We're also your personal bodyguards on your wedding day.
Yeah, for real. And we can be your chauffeurs on your wedding day, too.
Not in the bus.
Not in the bus. In our car. That we're buying soon. But anyways, yeah. So Luke and I are definitely very well organized, not afraid to tell people no, or please get out of my way. I need to get the shot, and I have 30 seconds till the guests come into the reception to get the shot. So please move.
You can go back, and if you want the backstory behind that, you go back and listen to the episode of the one about federal prison and being banned from a wedding venue. I believe that's the name of it. Go back and listen to that one. It's quite the treat. That's all we have time for. Thank you for listening to the one where we talk wedding edition. Be sure to go to broadsidevisuals.com for all of your wedding pirate needs. And
we love you.
We love you. Yeah. And remember that we have a YouTube channel where we post all of our work, and we have our Instagram at Broadside Visuals. And this is the one where we talk.
Have a wonderful day, y'all.